Good morning, Matt Waldman. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing pretty well, Oscar. What's going on with you?
Not much, man. Week 8 is in the books. A horrible injury. Cam Scadaboo. Hate to see
Oh,
that.
that was awful looking.
Yeah. Yeah, it was awful looking. And just, that things seem to be heading in such a great trajectory there with the great young Jaxson Dart. By the way, hi, everybody. It's the Feeling Fucking Podcast. Welcome aboard. We're here to guide you through what we saw in week 8 and what to make of it going forward. This is the start of the process. All kinds of content will go along with this. Many podcasts here at this very site, mattwaldman.com. Also, articles of football guys. Also, chat on the SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio by me, Bob Harris, and all kinds of stuff. So check it out. All right, let's start with the Jaxson Dart, the now Scadaboo-less Jaxson Dart. The Eagles plucked the fins off the dart. Feel it or fuck it.
I'm feeling that. I think they did, and
You were feeling it before it happened.
I've been. Of course, I have been. I'm a Jaxson Dart hater. I'm not a hater, but I do think there's things he's got work on, and this was coming. And part of what happened is that the Eagles were able to deliver the game plan that they weren't able to deliver the last time they played, which was they got the edges high and got a good push in the middle, and then they were able to confuse him with some twists to where he would drift into some twists in the pocket where he got sacked multiple times. And then they played cover ones at points where they either got good coverage with zone or they played man-to-man coverage where there were some throws there for Dart, but Dart isn't willing to maneuver the pocket. He doesn't know how to maneuver a pocket as well as he knows how to move in a pocket. And the difference is you can go watch Justin Herbert from Thursday night. And I showed some stuff on X. I'll show some stuff in the top 10 this week. But Justin Herbert, when there's a tight pocket, he can drop 3-5 steps really fast. And then when that pocket gets tight against him, he knows he can still take a step or two up into the pocket with pressure in his face and get the ball out on time. Whereas Dart is much more reticent to do that. He tends to drift or try to run to a spot, and then that keeps him from being in a position to throw, and it just degenerates from there, and it looks like an aspiring Kyler Murray show, which hasn't been a very much fun show lately for the Arizona Cardinals. And so he may complete a pass, and it may look like a Herculean effort, but he's wearing himself out. He's not getting the caliber of target that he could have got if he just took a step forward, 2 steps forward, just made a small adjustment and didn't drift. So the Eagles know that. They leveraged that, and they sacked him numerous times in this game. And you can say all you want about not having Malik Neighbors and folks like that. And
Cam
Scadaboo, which is just a shame. I mean, that was, at the same time, Tyrone Tracy ran pretty well, and he ran pretty hard. I just think that this is something that not every team's going to be able to leverage this the way the Eagles did, and Dart has some talent and some skill to work with that he could develop into a good starting quarterback. But if you can't climb the pocket, you're Baker Mayfield before you got cut by the Cleveland Browns and got the message sent to you.
So let me follow that up. So he finishes quarterback 11 through Sunday night's games for our purposes, right?
Yeah.
So do we care? Here's a guy with job security. We could have the same discussion about Justin Fields. He had a great game after 2 horrible games, but how can we play him and get that upside? Because he doesn't have right now, I don't think, great job security. Jaxson Dart has that. We can keep playing this just like we have been, right?
Yeah, for redraft, you don't care right now.
Right.
For Dynasty people who listen to this show, you care because you don't want to be picking him as a guy to build around. You want to, if you happen to have him, good for you. Keep building with your quarterbacks or try and trade for another one that's pretty darn good so that you've got a hedge.
So is Brian Dable the guy who can help develop him more?
Yes, he can be. But can Brian Dable be the head coach that the Giants want? I think the answer is right now they're probably waffling on that one. We don't know.
Right now, I'd say they're outperforming expectations.
I think so too.
And that might be all he needs to keep his job one more year with kind of the staid conservative people that run that organization. They're not looking to make changes.
They're not Woody Johnson.
They know their quarterback can complete a pass, so they have that going for them. All right, fair enough. TreVeyon Henderson, 10 carries, 74 yards. It's here. It's happened. Or has it? Feel it or fuck it. TreVeyon Henderson's finally a viable fantasy play.
I think you're going to want to watch one more game before you start this dude. Mainly because while the Browns are a very good defense, both run and pass, Josh McDaniels did a great job of attacking the edges in a way that you wouldn't expect. You think, well, we got to block these defensive ends with the Cleveland Browns, right? I mean, come on, Myles Garrett. No, they just decided we're not going to do that. We're going to kind of run plays where they have an option to rush upfield or stay back, and, well, they pin their ears back, and oftentimes they were able to leverage that to just run right past those guys. So
Six times they ran right past them and sacked Drake May.
Yeah, they did. And Myles Garrett had 5 of them, but I mean they were able to run the ball on toss and different types of edge plays, and they were able to, but they were also able to play a little bit off tendency because they started it with a nice ISO run, which is your lead fullback in zone, and ran behind that for a nice gain, and then the next play to Henderson, they faked that and then had a pitch back to him or a pitch out to him to the edge, and they forced defensive ends to read things a little bit and without blocking them, let them run themselves out of plays. And I think that's where Henderson had success. If they can do that with other teams, and then that's great, but I don't think they're going to need to, and then that means that we're still looking at the Ramondre Stevenson show. And the one thing that Ramondre Stevenson does that Henderson can't is that he is a heck of a pass protector, and he opened a huge scramble for Drake May on a safety blitz where he just hammered that safety and cleared the hole. And he was pretty much like, he had a beautiful catch at the boundary that he just couldn't keep his feet in bounds, but it was a heck of an effort. Henderson still ran pretty well. Stevenson ran pretty well, but I think that Henderson is still this guy that once every 3 to 4 weeks at best you're going to see signs of life, but not enough for you to take him off life support.
Yeah, I talked to Tom Carroll from WEEI in Boston yesterday, and he acknowledged being a TreVeyon Henderson booster heading in, thought all the great things, thought he looked great in camp, and he was going to be hunky-dory from a fantasy perspective. He's now, a bit more realistic with it. He says, there's going to be games, and this was before yesterday's game, that are going to make you think you want to roll them out there. Says, you want to take this slow. This might be more of a next year thing than a this year thing.
We've been telling you this all year.
Right. And he put it, that's a Josh McDaniels kind of thing as well. Yeah. Just kind of a tendency that he's had. So we'll see how this all plays out. But I think for right now, yes, Henderson, fuck that. Ain't rolling them out in lineups until I see a little more. Need a little further evidence. Need further evidence that Atlanta's offense is good. Kirk Cousins came in, started for Michael Penix. There was no Drake May, but they're going up against the woebegone Miami Dolphins, who have heretofore stopped nothing. And lo and behold, Bijan Robinson runs for 13 yards in the first half, finishes with 48. Tyler Algier, I think, fell into the end zone. Good for him, but it was lousy. Atlanta's offense is overrated. Or fuck it. And if you feel that, it's because Kirk Cousins is horrible.
No, I'm going to say feel that their offense is overrated, and I'm going to say fuck that about Kirk Cousins being horrible, even though, last year I think the theme of this show was Kirk Cousins was a bologna sandwich. I think that's what
it was.
Yes, right? Well, it wasn't bologna sandwich's fault this week. Watching this game, if there was a bologna sandwich this week on that Atlanta Falcons offense, it was tight end Charlie Warner, who basically, he missed 2 blocks in the first 2 series. One of them was a 3rd and 1 as a lead blocker. He slipped on the block and that got Bijan stuffed. There was another run where he basically allowed a stuff, and the offensive line was just leaky overall. Bijan missed a block on a blitz pickup that he looked outside, but there were two men working at the same time into the off left edge, and he picked the wrong one temporarily. And when he tried to correct himself, the linebacker was in his face in the pocket next to Cousins, and Cousins had no chance. I mean, Cousins had no chance in this game because early on they couldn't run the ball due to the line. The pressure was kind of bad, and Cousins made some nice throws, actually. It was a beautiful throw that he made to Kyle Pitts, for a 15-yard gain where he accounted for a safety dropping back into the flat, and threw it with great placement so that Pitts was the only one that was going to be able to make the play. I just think the problem was, they didn't have Drake May, and they didn't have Drake London, excuse me. They didn't have Drake London. They didn't have Drake May. That might have helped too in that leaky offensive line. But they didn't have Drake London, and they didn't have a good run game. They didn't have a good run game, and by the time the run game was starting to get a little bit better in terms of what the offensive line was doing, and the offensive line was healthy, Miami had already run away with this game. So it was just an awful effort. And when you think about also what the 49ers gave up this week to the Texans, and you think about the fact that Atlanta doesn't like to throw the ball over the middle when Penix is there, which may have a little bit to do with Penix, I think Atlanta's offense is definitely overrated.
Yeah, it wasn't what we expected, that's for sure. And it turns out Tua, maybe he should cover one eye every week and dialed in that aim.
Listen, just throw in breakers to Jalen Waddle, and he is fine.
Fair enough.
He can throw those with both eyes closed, apparently, because they were the best throws I saw pretty much all week. But that's what he throws.
I feel like that's Tua's thing, though. Like the weeks that he's on, he plays with super great, like a high-end confidence, gets the ball out of his hands really quick, goes right where he wants to go. I don't know. This doesn't seem like it's that every week. We'll find out. It seems like Caleb Williams can't get it together every single week. Here we go. This is a setup for you. Chicago Bears passing defense. Oh, it's passing defense. But what are we doing with Caleb? There's a lot of discussion on the Football Guys messages this morning that Caleb is, it's already over. It's been boom or bust. What are we making of Caleb Williams' game against the Ravens yesterday?
I haven't watched that game yet, but I'm gonna say fuck that just on reflex, just because they've been saying the haters have been saying that about him pretty much the whole time. But when you look at, let's see, 2nd and long, 3rd and long, 3rd and 4 through 3rd and 12 quarterback rating, Caleb Williams heading into this game was tops in the league. Justin Herbert, by the way, was instead of having, Caleb Williams had 144 rating, Justin Herbert had a 36 rating. So I would say in the key moments, Williams has played well overall. In keeping this offense moving. But I think that a lot of this is people are used to the Chicago Bears being bad. They're looking for ways for the Bears to stay bad. And Chicago fans are the worst at being dysfunctional about, suddenly they have a run game. The run game's working great, but Caleb wasn't great either. So now you're talking about, okay, so it's good that the Bears were able to run the ball the past few weeks and to be able to use the run as that opportunity to win games, even when the passing game wasn't working great. But you'd rather have Caleb Williams, who was doing pretty good considering the disaster he was in last year, and getting his ass kicked and occasionally making some big-time throws and criticizing that. I don't get it. I would say probably a bad game, and that's it.
Well, he gets the Cincinnati Bengals last week, and Justin Fields would like you to know they can cure what ails you. The Cincinnati defense. The Bears defense, down 3 players. Is this something that's going to carry over this kind of matchup, much like we would say with the Bengals? Get your quarterback in, much like we say with the Cowboys. Get your quarterbacks in.
If because it's really technically 4 of their top cornerbacks who were out last week. So if they
I was tough Johnson.
If they're all out next week, for sure. If only 2 of them are out next week and the other 2 look healthy enough, fine. But I take my chances next week no matter what, most likely. So.
All right. So we were talking before the game, the San Francisco Houston game. Which wide receiver should it be in this one? Of the 3, who would we like? The answer was all 3. It was Jake Higgins, Jalen Noel, and Xavier Hutchinson.
But not Dallas Schultz, who was probably the most likely, safest answer, right?
Right, exactly that. So is this more about the 49ers? And Caleb or CJ Stroud ends up finishing as quarterback 10 on the week, just like we all expected. The 49ers, a vulnerable passing defense, feel it or fuck it.
Absolutely. Without Fred Warner over the middle, they were able to find, Higgins
that
over
was
the
going to
middle.
help Dalton Schultz.
I thought so too, but they kept running out-breaking routes to Schultz and in-breaking routes to everybody else, which was kind of the fascinating thing there. But, Xavier Hutchinson had some nice plays. Jalen Noel converted, I think, 3 third-down plays, and then he had some nice plays downfield. And so I think Noel's the safest option because of the targets and the type of targets that they use him on. And they seem to rely on him in pivotal situations. I think Higgins gives you the best boom-bust value in terms of like the high ceiling but low floor because of what he does in the deeper ranges of the, get inside the 30, they're going to run post patterns to him into the end zone. Hutchinson is probably the second safest play. He's the least dynamic of the 3, but he's such a good route runner and a good contested catch guy that I think there's confidence in him. If they just used him in the red zone as their red zone specialist, I think this guy could have 8 or 9 touchdowns, and even if he only gained like 500, 600 yards on the season.
Interesting. All right, so we were talking about the Jets passing attack turning around. Who is the piece we want to be looking at? Is it Arian Smith? Is it Tyler Johnson? Field or fuck it? Are any of these guys worthwhile?
Probably not on a week-to-week basis, but if you're going to take a chance in a PPR league, it's going to be Tyler Johnson because of what he can do over the middle and the set plays you can run with fades. He's very good at adjusting to the football. But I'd say long-term, if there's a guy that, in a Dynasty league and he's available and you want to just stash him on your waiver wire, I'd say off your waiver wire, I would say Arian Smith is the guy. Great speed. He's got better hands than what was labeled with him at Georgia. It doesn't mean he's not going to drop the ball at times, but I think the drops that he had at Georgia were things that you could kind of explain away more often, and you could see there's good technique with his game when he does attack it. He had a really nice play late in that game against the Bengals where he worked into the cornerback's back and forced him to continue to turn and run, and then just hit the brakes and ran the comeback at the sideline and, made a nice catch there. I think that he continues to flash in moments where if you're in a Dino league, definitely consider stashing him, especially on a practice squad.
All right, and Garrett Wilson will be back at some point, and we'll see if the quarterback's problems are all cured or if this was just a Bengals-related bump.
Bengals-related bump.
I have a guess. Matt just voiced it.
The best pass of the day was from Breece Hall.
To Mason Taylor. Is he the best rookie tight end in the NFL? Field or fuck it?
I think there's an argument for it. I think I'm feeling the idea that you could argue that, and it would be a knowledgeable argument. Because as good as Tyler Warren has been statistically, and he's the best fantasy rookie at the tight end position for sure. What Mason Taylor does as a blocker, also what he can do in contested situations, I think he's a better contested catch receiver on every variety of route compared to Tyler Warren. And I think Colston Loveland could probably make an argument for this point as well, but I think we're going to need to see more reps coming his way before we do that.
Look, man, I did not come onto this podcast for Oronde Gaston 2 slander, sir. I need some acknowledgement of my guy.
You know what? I'll put it to you this way. In the same way that you carry me, Justin Herbert carries Oronde Gaston. Okay, Oronde Gaston looks good. He makes good. The right way around. He makes good plays, and he made some nice plays in that week. I will say that, but I'd say you could insert a lot of tight ends and get.
So Oronde Gaston, best circumstance of any NFL rookie tight end, field or fuck it.
It's up there with Tyler Warren, so yes, I'm feeling that. But your guy, Mason Taylor, I must remind you that you saw at the combine. Your guy, I like how smooth this guy is, and he plays some good football.
I agree.
If you had a quarterback.
Exactly. Not happy with his circumstances. Maybe Breece Hall can take more snaps from under center. Talk about Breece Hall. Great game for him. 7-game touchdown drought ended. Still talk November 4th trade deadline coming that he will be shipped on. Is Isaiah Davis the reason the Jets might be willing to trade him?
I think so. I feel it because they got Braylon Allen when he gets healthy. They feel pretty good about him, obviously. I think they're fucking fools to want to trade Breece Hall, but with Isaiah Davis, he's such a good receiver. Yeah, it's the money. Woody needs to continue to fund his grandson, whatever his grandson's doing, Lord knows, in those clubs. But probably Isaiah Davis, I mean, good receiver out of the backfield as a route runner and pass catcher. He's a tough runner. I think that they can get by with a committee and think that that's what they can do is they can big lots their running backs and be just fine.
Breece Hall for DJ Moore.
I would take that in a heartbeat if I were the Bears. I don't think it's gonna. I don't know if salary cap reasons will make that worthwhile, but if for some reason it does seem like worthwhile, Justin Fields will love having his favorite college receiver, and then DJ Moore will love that he doesn't have to run disciplined routes anymore with Ben Johnson. Though he might not love being off a team that has a chance to get into the playoffs this year. But that could be that would be unbelievably awesome for the Chicago Bears to have this type of lead running back. That it would be Breece Hall could probably run for about 1,700 yards behind the Bears offensive line as it is right now.
The Breece Hall contract issue not really an issue other than you have to give him one. You're free to negotiate. That'd probably have to be some discussions you'd have before you traded for him, wanting to know what kind of
but DJ Moore's contract just signed an extension.
Yeah, he's through 29, so there might be implications. They might be able to work that out though.
Yeah.
So we will see. But yeah, it was not an inconsequential contract either. All right. Kimani Vidal earned himself a co-starter role in LA next year. Feel it or fuck it.
I'm going to say fuck it with a chance of feeling it, and just from the standpoint of I think they're just stuck with Kimani Vidal, but they're starting to see that, you get this guy into a rhythm and he can play, something that they didn't do last year.
But isn't this the argument for any NFL running back on an NFL roster under the right circumstances? I mean, it's a lot of athleticism involved. Like, yes, there's skills and abilities and talents beyond that, but opportunity seems like the gateway drug here to at least a modicum of success if that's the only guy they have.
Yeah, opportunity and fit absolutely makes sense. I mean, look at Devon Achane.
Right.
And I'm going to slander him a little bit and just say that he's unbelievably explosive, but you put him on a different offense and you ask him to do things that the Titans ask their backs to do, and I'm not so sure he would be their second string running back. And I know that's kind of a bold and crazy take, as good as Achane has been.
Controversy. Controversy.
But I think
flip it.
Right. That's why there are no Alfredo Browns on this show right now. We love you, Alfredo, but that's no. But yeah, I mean, I think that there's nuance to that, and I think that Kimani Vidal they might say he's the cheaper option that they could do that with, but if they decide not to bring back Najee Harris since he's on a 1-year deal, and they probably won't. So I think there's a 50-50 shot here, but I'm gonna roll with fuck it as the air on that side of it, as much as I like some of what I've seen from Vidal.
Yeah, I'm like, from a fantasy perspective, which is the only thing I'm worried about at the moment, he is helping some of my teams. So is Samaje Perine, by the way. So we'll talk about him.
Runaway dump truck. I love him.
we'll talk about him. Yes, there are some tough decisions being made in week 8 of NFL seasons, people. Justin Herbert is an elite NFL quarterback. Feel it or fuck it.
I'm going to say fuck it. He's really close, though. He's really close. But he makes a dumbass throw every week, as one of my friends says. I won't say who, because I don't know if he'd want me to share who it is. But he does. He's so close to that. He makes some of the most gorgeous throws you're ever going to see. He has great footwork. He moves in the pocket well, from the basis of arm talent, mobility, pocket maneuverability, accuracy. When he makes the right decision, he's elite. But I think the thing that holds him back, and it's a sliver of a thing, it's just that he makes a dumbass decision every week that can cost their team a game. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes he plays through it. But I think against the better teams, there's things that, like the red zone interception he had against the Colts last week. That was nasty. And then earlier this week, there was a throw that just was off. That you looked at the decision, and he tried to slide to his left and think that the linebacker that was in that area that was going to drift left with him, and he could just throw it, across his body. And you're just like, no, that's not going to happen. And he does things like this probably every other game to every game, somewhere in that range, that just holds him back. But I mean, you're talking about maybe 4 or 5 quarterbacks who I would rank above him. That's not many. So very good quarterback. Love watching him. Yeah,
the talents, physical characteristics, and all that seem right on point. Maybe the offense is he well suited to this offense?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's well suited for any offense, to be honest. But I mean, we're just talking. We're doing radio show talk about, like, splitting hairs here on this one. He's a excellent fantasy player. Well, he's not an excellent fantasy player. He's a good fantasy player capable of excellent production. And he's the same thing as a quarterback.
There's a bit of a dichotomy, because when I watch him, I have as much fun watching him play as like any quarterback. Like Drake May is kind of rising up there, where it's going, dang, just like the talent seems obvious, and even when everything doesn't work, I don't really care, because I'm not a fan of the Chargers, and I don't care if they win or lose. I could take the bad plays and overlook them maybe a little more easily than others. So Lad McConkey, we wrote him off as a fantasy wide receiver too soon. Feel it or fuck it.
Yeah, as a wide receiver 1, I think we wrote him off too soon. I think you ask around the media 5 weeks ago, and it was like, yep, Quentin Johnston, Keenan Allen, Lad McConkey. That's the order that I think is going to, production-wise, it's going to be. Well, the past, since week 5, Lad McConkey is a number 4 fantasy receiver. And I know that Quentin's been a little banged up, and, but Oronde Gadsden's jumped into the mix. And I think what they've realized is what we talked about 5 weeks ago when we were talking about this. It was like, well, there's these binds that defenses are facing between Keenan Allen and Lad McConkey, and they're overplaying McConkey. Well, eventually they're going to start overplaying Allen. And I think we're seeing McConkey benefit a little bit from that. And also they're featuring him outside. He had a beautiful fade route for a touchdown where he beat his man straight up. And I think I think that with the way the offensive skill positions in the passing game have developed, McConkey's just getting featured in ways that he's going to have more and more advantages, and he's going to play a little more one-on-one football that's going to help him.
All right, fair enough. So I feel like maybe this is going to just like a shift I mean, always in the past in these Greg Roman, Harbaugh offenses, there's been one option. This just seems like a definite shift to where there's now more than one option. So there's going to be weeks that it's going to vary, and your mileage may vary as well, people. Chase Brown, resurgence, more to come. Feel it or fuck it.
I'm going to say fuck it not because of Chase Brown. Well, you know what? I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to say I'm feeling it. Chase Brown is a smart running back, and you watching him play, it may not be as easy as it was against the Jets in some regards, but he's such a good receiver, and I think that he's really developed that aspect of his game. I think that he still becomes a reasonable running back too. Maybe not a running back one level resurgence long term, but I think he's going to become a viable fantasy play again.
Yeah, I think the schedule, I've been saying this all along, the schedule is going to lighten up for these guys, and if they can get some reasonable quarterback play going forward from Joe Flacco, it'll help them out as well. Quinshon Judkins, a volatile running back 3 in fantasy right now. Feel it or fuck it.
We've been saying, we've been repeating this refrain for about 4 weeks, and we're going to keep it. That's exactly what he is. You can see it. I mean, he's a good runner, but they don't have the quarterback. They can't change the plays at the line as well. Now they're going to eventually go to Shedeur Sanders, the rumor mill seems to think. And if that happens, we don't know what's going to happen after that either. So Judkins against really weak defenses, sure, put him in. Judkins against good to really good defenses, find somebody else.
Drop Jerry Jeudy, feel it or fuck it.
Feel it.
The irony of this is I'm in a league where I actually had to pick up Jerry Jeudy. I sat there for a half an hour, trying to make arguments for anybody else. It was very difficult.
I dropped him for Jalen Noel this week in a league.
If Jalen Noel was available, I would have grabbed him.
Yep, and Chimeri DK. I dropped him for that as well, though I didn't play DK, which I wish I had. That might have made a difference for me. But very nice, very nice. But yeah, Jeudy, I mean, it's a combination of two things: the quarterback mostly, and then the fact that he doesn't seem to really emerge at the catch point at the level that he should, and so he's not taking advantage of the opportunities that he does get.
Yeah, it's been a struggle. Kayshon Boutte. Yes, that is correct pronunciation, people. I will remind you. I've been going with Boutte, Matt, forever, thinking it sounded more appropriate. Kayshon would like us to know it's Boutte. Yeah. Get your booty call going. All right, add him now. Feel it or fuck it.
Yeah, feeling that. Absolutely feeling that. I think that there's going to be concerns about whether he can be a consistent starter, but he's been consistent the past few weeks, and you can see that they are throwing the ball to him in third down situations. He's physical off the line. There was a play on a double move, a comeback against Denzel Ward, who might be one of the better cover cornerbacks in the league, where he just manhandled him. And he's showing enough deep speed to win in the vertical game. So I think they're going to continue to expand on this guy I think he's their wide receiver 1 of the future.
The eyeball test says the same to me, just watching him without studying, just watching the game. That guy stands out. Size, physicality, playmaking ability, all those things leap out. Also, I'm told his quarterback is very good. Feeling it. Roman Wilson coming on the last couple of weeks. And also, so much so that in Green Bay last night, he was led the team in catches, targets, yards. Is he legit? Feel it or fuck it?
I'll defer to you because I haven't seen that game yet. And from what I've seen of him at Michigan, he didn't always know how to use his hands, and he didn't always know how to run a route. So maybe it sounds like that's changed.
I don't know that it has. My feeling is about this is fuck it. There's an entire universe of receiving assets on the Steelers not named DK Metcalf. Any given week, one of them will rise up and serve you well, and then other weeks they will fail you miserably, and you might not even realize they're on the roster. I think it's a tough slog for me with this offense. More about the offense than the player.
Jalen Warren or bust, basically. Is that basically what
yes,
we're saying?
And I wasn't keen on Jalen Warren in this game, and it was a struggle for him as well. So
okay,
this is not a they're not the Titans, but this is not my favorite fantasy offense in Pittsburgh. That's for sure. Take a chance on Christian Watson. Feel it or fuck it.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling that. I mean, I still think that you're looking at kind of like with the Steelers, but with more scoring. You've got, a different guy every week, probably. In terms of what goes on in that passing game, unless it's, of course, no, I would even include Tucker Kraft because Tucker Kraft's boom bust. In that regard.
Mother Tucker Kraft?
Yeah.
Is dominant. Tight ends day, there's never going to be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, as long as he's going to score on tight ends day, but,
But he looks, honestly, I feel like Tucker Kraft is not getting the credit he deserves. Just, again, not sitting here studying the tapes or whatever, just watching him make plays. He is a handful. Right?
Yes.
I like the physicality after he catches the football.
Oh, yeah.
Sets him apart a little bit.
They just got to target him more. That's the big deal. They did last night. I mean, but that's like scoring on National Tight Ends Day is like scoring on Valentine's Day. I mean, that's going to happen. Unless you're Charlie Warner, I guess. I don't know.
You're going to fall on your ass. All right, Tyler Shough, feel it or fuck it.
Fuck it.
Come on.
He's an aspiring Jay Cutler and not the good version.
I'm going to acknowledge it. The debut was not impressive.
Yeah, his pocket work is not strong. He can throw on the move some. He's kind of like the modern day Davis Webb, who is now, I guess, an offensive coordinator. Who's it for the Broncos?
Quarterbacks coach.
Broncos. Hey, look, man, he's a good coach. He's a good coach.
Very attractive man.
Well, look, he'll be doing real estate or financial planning before you know it if this job doesn't work out.
I think it's working out for him so far.
Good for him.
I want to say for Shough, right? Like all the circumstances that conspired to move him directly into the starting lineup, that they had not come to pass until halfway through a beatdown against a division rival, tells you everything you need to know about Tyler Shough. If there was any reason at all for them to have inserted him in the lineup any time before this, the guaranteed money, the draft capital invested, the new coaching staff who obviously thought that he was a good idea to land, all of that would have had him in there sooner. I'm with you. Fuck it. And I'm invested. Damn it. Sight unseen.
Yeah.
This is why you take a test drive, people. I don't know. I don't drive either, so I'm probably not a good analogy either.
I think you used to drive, right?
Many years ago. It's been quite some time.
Okay.
Can't play by the rules, don't play. Okay. All right. Enough of that. That's it for this week's episode of Feel It or Fuck It. We'll be back next Monday, feeling more things, fucking some of them, and the usual other chicanery.
Maybe even a Tales from the Dark Side. We could do a feature of Bob Harris. Anecdotes.
I don't know if we want to do that. Although the post-Halloween edition.
Yep,
all right, everybody, go to Football Guys. Find Matt and my work. Both are published there on the regular. Listen to my daily update podcast, 10 minutes of news and analysis. Listen to the many podcasts on this very channel over the course of the week. They are all fantastic. Go check out the rookie scouting portfolio if you have not. MattWaldman.com is the place you can do that. Matt, I'm going to go do some work now. Love you. Goodbye.
Me too. Love you. Bye.